How to defeat internet censorship with RSS. This is a video that I did back in 2018, shortly after Alex Jones, the infamous Alex Jones, was banned by YouTube and a variety of other internet social media companies. I didn't shed a lot of tears over Alex Jones, but I was pretty concerned about the banning and expecting it to expand to more credible sources of information and to rational discussions of serious issues. That, of course, has quite clearly happened with the coronavirus pandemic, where we see videos and articles and informations by qualified scientists and medical doctors and other people being banned. Notably on YouTube, some notable examples are a video interview with John Ioannidis of Stanford University that was banned by YouTube, and some other ones done by Journeyman TV. A number of videos, interviews, and so forth with Andrew Kaufman, who's a bit less mainstream, but is in fact a medical doctor, a psychiatrist, someone who's qualified by any reasonable definition to have opinions and make discussions. I think we all are entitled to opinions, but the point is these are actually qualified people who have unorthodox, non-mainstream views. Other examples include the Plandemic video and various things involving the controversial researcher Judy Mikovits. So these are people who have things to say about the current response to the pandemic, the nature of the pandemic. This against a backdrop in which the supposed official experts, the World Health Organization, the Centers for Disease Control, prominent journals like the New England Journal of Medicine and the Lancet are flip-flopping and making what are obviously mistakes or lies or something. These include, for example, advice/orders not to wear masks, now flipped to masks work and everybody should wear a mask. They include, for example, an article which was apparently fraudulent published by these top medical journals, which has been retracted, presenting fraudulent evidence that hydroxychloroquine, the drug, is dangerous, and a variety of other questions have been raised about various reports related to hydroxychloroquine. I'm not endorsing hydroxychloroquine. I'm just saying this is clearly very questionable performance by the top officials. It should be criticized, and it's valid and legitimate to criticize it. And yet the social media agencies are banning various sources which present medical doctors, Ph.D.s, or simply people who quite obviously are quite knowledgeable about it. That includes Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and many people affiliated with him, for example, the Children's Health Defense. It includes many people who have clearly rational scientific complaints about a variety of medical issues, including, of course, the handling of the coronavirus pandemic and exactly what's going on. So that makes how to defeat internet censorship with RSS even more relevant today than it was a couple of years ago. I focus here on what you can do yourself to use RSS to follow people, websites, blogs, and other sources without being censored by YouTube, by Facebook, by other sources. It's also the case that many websites or non-mainstream websites could set up RSS feeds as a mechanism of bypassing and reaching the public and not having to go through YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and so forth. Now, a lot of websites do have RSS today, but it's not as popular as it used to be. But it's a proven working technology. It's decentralized. It gets around these problems. It could, with proper promotion, experience a renaissance as a simple, easy, effective method of getting around a lot of this censorship. And that's what I recommend as one thing that can be quickly done. Many websites, particularly video websites, don't necessarily have an RSS feed that provides, let's say every week you would put out a post on your blog, if you will, and it would basically be a list of featured videos, new videos, giving people a place to start to come to your video. And that way people could kind of track, as is shown in this video. This video shows how you can use RSS to keep track of many independent sources, which is what people should do to get multiple opinions without them being controlled by Google, by Facebook, by Microsoft, by these giant companies, and very likely elements of the government that are applying pressure to them. And now this is the video that I produced in 2018. How to defeat internet censorship with RSS. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to defeat soft or stealth censorship of the internet, primarily large social media websites and services, using RSS, which is actually an old technology that's very well proven and very widely used. It's not nearly as popular as it was 10, 20 years ago. So how to defeat internet censorship with RSS. So RSS stands for Rich Site Summary. It's often called really simple syndication, but that's not its official name. It is usually identified by this icon here. So a lot of times you just click on this icon or you right click on this icon to subscribe to an RSS feed. It's basically a series of news articles or posts from the website. Many common website programs like WordPress can easily configure and set up an RSS feed for your website, or RSS feeds plural, so you can segment your content into different types of content, maybe a general audience content, a specialty content. So RSS is supported by a lot of programs, a number of browsers, a number of email programs. They're standalone RSS readers. Some of them are free and open source, others you have to pay money for. Formally, RSS is defined as a type of web feed which allows users to access updates to online content in a standardized computer readable format. These feeds can, for example, allow a user to keep track of many different websites in a single news aggregator. So the advantage of RSS, one of the advantages of RSS is instead of manually visiting dozens or even hundreds of websites, which is impractical, you get everything in one place, such as your email program. So I'm going to show you how to use RSS. It's very simple to access a banned website. So this is Alex Jones' website. He used to be on Facebook and YouTube and a number of other social media sites. They threw him off just recently, a few weeks ago. He's very controversial. He's very loud, abrasive. He's very kooky. I don't endorse Alex Jones or his content, but let's take a look at how we can get around the bans to listen to what he has to say. So we can, in this case, I'm right clicking. You can sometimes click directly, but I'm going to right click because I want to set up the RSS feed in my Thunderbird email program. I copy the link. So each RSS feed has a URL. It's in the lower left corner now, displaying on my Firefox browser. It says infowars.com/feed/custom feed RSS. These URLs vary in exactly how they're laid out. But what you need is the URL for the RSS feed. Usually you can find it with this icon. Some websites don't have the icon. They have text which will say something like RSS. It may be buried at the bottom of the website or under About Us or other parts of the website. RSS is not as popular as it was 15 years ago, 10 years ago. It's declined as websites like Facebook and YouTube have increased in popularity. It is actually easy to use, and it has a number of advantages, which I'll discuss in a minute. So this is Thunderbird. This is my email program, and it also supports RSS. It has a built-in RSS reader, which shows up under this section, Blogs and Newsfeed, which has a bunch of different websites that I subscribe to. I subscribe to websites across the political spectrum and with other specialized subjects like computer programming. And so let's go back to Blogs and Newsfeed. It has a bunch of options here. And what's most relevant in this case is the Manage Subscriptions item here, which again you can see it has this icon. You generally want to look for this icon as it often indicates in the case of websites where you can get the URL for the RSS feed. In the case of tools like the readers, it can indicate where you add them, add the URLs to their database of websites they subscribe to. So here I paste in the RSS URL for Infowars, and what's going to happen here is I'll add it to the list of these that I follow. This could be hundreds actually, or thousands of websites that I process. So I create my own feed, kind of like your Facebook feed or some of these, or LinkedIn, some of these social media websites, except you're in the driver's seat. You decide what content you get, and you decide how it's prioritized. I'll talk about that in a minute. So I click Add, and it will verify the feed and make sure it's a valid RSS feed. If it is a valid RSS feed, it will download the latest articles on the feed to your reader, and that's what's happened here. So now I have Alex Jones, and I can look at what he's promoting. So again, I don't endorse Alex Jones or his content. I think he's rather strange. I've known about him for a long time, but again, I find him very strange. He is, of course, notorious right now for, in the past, having promoted the idea that the Sandy Hook mass shooting was a completely staged fake event. That's an example of the kind of strange stuff that he promotes over the years. Of course, a lot's being made of the Sandy Hook thing and some of this other stranger content. I think it's more likely that with one of these outrageous articles that he puts out here, he ticked off some powerful people, probably in the government, and they're not too happy with him, so they got him banned. And that's happening more and more, both flat out bans like Alex Jones, where people are just kicked off these websites, or shadow banning types of things where they deprioritize people. Using RSS puts you in the driver's seat. It allows you to connect directly to websites without like InfoWars or Breitbart or CNN or Fox or whatever you want to listen to. You're bypassing these giant centralized servers. They can't ban you. They can't stop you from getting access to the content in a centralized way. On you, the centralization occurs, however, on your computer and your email program or your RSS reader. So the advantage of that is you get unfiltered content. It's not prioritized by their algorithms. It's not controlled so much by what the advertisers want, but what you want. Now, the readers frequently have, like Thunderbird does, message filters that you can set up and configure. So I've got some here. So for example, this is my energy policy one. And I basically set it up, if somebody's talking about energy policy, I put it in my actually important folder. So the concept here is you can prioritize and pick out the articles that are actually really important to you. And those are often not the articles that are being hyped. They're often hyping in politics things that make people angry, that make you outraged. Trump's latest tweet about, he got mad at somebody. It has very little to do with critical things like energy policy that actually impact us. So these filters allow you to prioritize your content and pick out the things that are important. And one of the things I do, which I have here, is I have subjects which make me irritated, angry, upset. In this case, I don't want to delete them and ignore them, but I want to set them aside for times when I am in the right mood and I can focus and concentrate, and I'm not going to get distracted from other important things, so I put them in my aggravating content. And there is really a lot of fluff, the Kardashians or other things like that, depending on what you subscribe to, that you might want to just delete and not really pay attention to. But the beauty of RSS and of the RSS readers and Thunderbird specifically in this case is you can set up your own filters, make your own decisions about what to prioritize. It's not being made for you by an advertiser. It's not being made for you by the government or people in the shadows who are applying pressure to these websites to promote certain things and demote or even completely ban, as happened with Alex Jones, various content because it ticks somebody off or somebody's ego got, cracked or ruffled or offended. None of that. You are the person making the decision, which is the way it should be. So I just want to emphasize this point that other people are not looking out for you. Facebook is trying to make money. YouTube and Google are trying to make money. Politicians and political leaders are trying to advance their careers, get elected. They're not looking out for you. You need to look out for yourself. We need to look out for ourselves, think for ourselves, and go look at the content that's out there and make our own decisions. Make our own decisions to prioritize it or not prioritize it. So, by the way, if you're not too keen on Alex Jones, and I'm not actually that keen on Alex Jones, you can also make your own decision to delete Alex Jones or other content that you don't find very useful or you find unreliable. And you can also go ahead and I'll empty the trash. So as I said, the point of this video isn't to endorse Alex Jones. I don't endorse him. I think he's rather kooky. I do, however, think that we should make the decisions for ourselves. We should not let Facebook or Mark Zuckerberg or Twitter or these other companies or the government applying pressure to them visibly or not. And there's lots of visible pressure being applied to Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg was dragged in front of a congressional Senate committee. I don't know all the details, but they grilled him for a long time. It got in the news. And, these companies like Facebook, like Google, they're big. They depend on the government to be friendly to them.
A number of them, like Facebook and Google, meet the common sense definition of a monopoly, so they can be pressured by selective application, selective enforcement of antitrust laws, of tax laws, of securities and investment regulations, and a wide range of other levers that the government has to apply a lot of pressure on them to, for example, promote certain points of view, promote certain things, and flat out ban, as what we're now seeing, flat out ban people who ruffle feathers, who say outrageous things. So the beauty of RSS is it allows you to get around that. It's decentralized. It doesn't route you through a Facebook. There isn't a single choke point where the government or some other interest group can shut down the discussion, can censor essentially, content that for some reason offends them or gets them going or whatever. Instead, you can use RSS to line up a bunch of these websites and keep track of what's going on. And you can use filters and other mechanisms to set up your own algorithms to pick out the content that's really important to you and that really affects you, and deprioritize or even ban yourself. You can always unsubscribe from a RSS feed if you find the content is just pretty useless to you. So that's RSS. Again, there's tons of information on RSS on the internet. It's been around for almost 20 years. RSS stands for Rich Site Summary, or Really Simple Syndication. This is the icon for RSS, and usually that's where you want to go to get the URLs. If the icon is not present, many websites in the fine print down at the bottom of the web page, or sometimes in the About section, or some of the other places where they tend to put information like that, it will have a text link, which often will say RSS in the text link, which allows you to get to these URLs. Sometimes, if you're having trouble, you can actually put in the website name, title like Breitbart or something, and RSS in a browser, uh, and or not a browser, a search engine, sorry, like Google or DuckDuckGo or one of these, and it will actually provide you with a link where you can then get the RSS feed. So you can use RSS can be used to defeat this type of soft or stealth censorship of the internet, where websites are flat out banned, like Alex Jones was, or sort of deprioritized so you rarely, if ever, see them, the so-called shadow banning.
This concludes this video presentation. If you like this video, please click like. Please click subscribe and the notification bell if you would like to receive more content from us. You can avoid internet censorship by subscribing directly to our RSS news feed. Please consider sharing the link by email or on your website or blog, in addition to liking, upvoting, or sharing on increasingly censored, advertising beholden, and big company social media. We have encountered such censorship. Mathematical Software is developing software to automate data analysis, reducing the risks of costly errors and improving results. You can support our work financially by subscribing on our Patreon page. Scan the QR code in the lower right corner to get the Patreon link. Our Patreon link is also in the show notes below.